Alright, what's up guys? So, WrestleMania has uploaded a video titled 10 Most Forgotten WWE Wrestler Returns. Yeah, there's at times I feel like that wrestlers, they come back, they're there for like 2.5 minutes, and then they're gone. It is seriously the most quickest and like just disappearance that you'll ever see. And they're there for some time and then they're gone. But yeah, let's just go on and see like who's gonna be in this video. But guys, this is honestly like the one wrestling page I've been watching a lot. Probably my favorite. There's like some other wrestling pages that I've watched out there, but I like WrestleMania. I like them a lot. I like the name. I like the Undertaker intro music that they do. Everything. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video. Make sure you go subscribe and show some love to WrestleMania. But then that being said, let's get into this video. I don't feel like that's a forgotten return.
And when a WWE superstar makes their return, it should feel special and be treated like a huge deal. Take for instance Triple H's return in 2002.
Well, that's why, like, because it's like, okay, you got one of the biggest wrestlers at the time, one of the biggest venues in the whole country. And it's like, then on top of that, yeah, you know he was going to get some love and support that day. But that was because that was the same with John Cena. Because John Cena, the Royal Rumble, weren't they at Madison Square Garden? I'm telling you, when you go and, like, when it's a sold-out show, well, I mean, obviously not now because of the pandemic. But when it was like, when it's sold-out shows and the wrestler comes back, oh, yeah, everybody going to be talking on that. So, but if it wasn't, like, sold-outs, who knows? Maybe it was some sold-out shows and the wrestler came back with, like, we don't care about that. But anyways.
Or Edge's return at this year's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that was crazy. I seen that and I was like, I was so mad that I didn't watch it.
All huge moments that people will never forget.
Oh yeah.
Conversely, there are some WWE returns that slip under the radar as they are so underwhelming that fans simply forgot they ever happened.
Honestly, oh, that's ECW. Oh, this is a while ago.
Ashes of injustice rises the hurricane.
These returns can fall flat due to a number of reasons, and these could range from the booking decision or the return run being so short that it failed to make any lasting memory on the WWE audience.
Wait a minute! What the hell is this? Oh man! What the hell is that? It can't! It's Big Boss, man!
But which returns were they? Well, join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 WWE returns that nobody remembers.
Much I remember some of them. Because I sometimes I'll pay attention to like well, I ain't gonna really call them nobodies, but I'll pay attention to like the ones that don't get as hyped as the other ones. But anyways,
be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists.
Oh my God! Who the hell? Who the hell is that?
I feel like I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Kevin Nash! What is he doing here?
Number 1, Jimmy Snuka in 1996.
I was just born that year, so
was best known for introducing the high-flying style of wrestling to WWE in the 80s.
Superfly punch, 15 feet high. Oh my God!
That's crazy.
Now, although Snuka would never win the WWE title, he did cement a legacy as one of the greatest ever, and this was recognized when he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 1996. Now, to honor his induction, WWE would have Snuka compete at that year's Survivor Series in an incredibly underwhelming return match. In a traditional Survivor Series match, the fake Diesel, Farouk, fake Razor Ramon, and Vader would team up to face the team of Flash Funk, Savio Vega, Yokozuna, and the returning Jimmy Snuka. Yeah, what a match. Damn, 96 was bad. Now, he wasn't too old, but Snuka did very little in the actual match, and it was ruled a no contest when everyone began to brawl. It was truly one of the most underwhelming return matches in WWE history. Number 2, the Great Khali in 2017.
But he's had like multiple returns though. That's why I'm like, I'm honestly just be waiting to hear his music go off some days, because I'm like, I feel like this would be the perfect time for him to return. But Yeah, you know, I wouldn't say that it's a return that I forgot about, but well, I did, because I was like, not until it was brought up, but I'm like, I feel like I remember it, but I don't know. He's just one of those wrestlers. It's like he wasn't really like impactful. Maybe when he was like during his heel days, but when he was a babyface, I don't know.
No. Oh, the Colossus! The Colossus, you got him! Do we have it? You're kidding me!
The WWE shocked the world in 2017 when they booked Jinder Mahal, who had been a jobber for his entire WWE career, to win the title from Randy Orton at the Backlash pay-per-view.
It was random, but at the same time, like that is something I feel like that's good to, you know, add to his resume.
The push was that Mahal would help WWE expand in India.
Olden day Maharaja and the modern day Maharaja.
However, the reality was that Mahal winning the title seriously impacted SmackDown's product and hurt the legitimacy of the title itself. Mahal would face Orton on a number of occasions on pay-per-view, and none of them were particularly great or even memorable. However, their final encounter at the Battleground pay-per-view became well known, but unfortunately for all the wrong reasons.
My career is all said and done. This will be known as Jinder Mahal's match.
The two would face off in a Punjabi prison match, a match that never had a great success rate in terms of match quality, so to pair these two in a match type like this was an interesting choice.
Is this just like a I don't know, like a bamboo stick, like steel cage, or like a Hell in a Cell match? Like, that's how I seen it. I remember as a kid, like when you see, you're all like, oh, that's dope, because I think, who was it? The first two wrestlers, wasn't it Batista and the Great Khali? So I was like, yeah, when I think when I seen this as a kid, I was just like, oh, it's dope. But as you get older, you just saw like, if they don't do it, they don't do it. I'm like, all right, oh well, but
to say the least.
Randy Orton, one more shot here as Samir Singh. Oh!
Dang.
The match itself was a disaster and was even made worse by the fact it featured the return of the Great Khali.
That's the creator of the match, the Punjabi Prince, that's the Great Khali. Oh my God. That's who created this entire structure.
Who helped Mahal win the match and retain the title in the process. Khali's return was so unmemorable because it would never be mentioned on TV again. The association
I honestly, so this is why I was thinking it was like SmackDown or Raw or something, but no, it was a pay-per-view. I don't really watch the pay-per-views that much unless it's like a big match is happening, or if it's like WrestleMania or something. But other than that, I'm like, I don't really watch the other pay-per-views, but that's why I didn't know of it. I don't remember them talking about it on TV. And like he just said they didn't mention it, so
Mahal was seemingly forgotten about overnight. We wonder how WWE would have explained that. Oh yeah, well, Indians help Indians. There you go. Number 3, Vader in 2005.
I wasn't watching wrestling then.
When WWE signed Vader to a multi-year deal in '96, it was expected that he would be a huge star in the company. However, following issues backstage and complaints in relation to his in-ring work, his push was quickly cancelled and Vader would be placed in the lower mid-card for his entire WWE run.
Look at that! Boy, he pressed him! He did it, JR! He pressed him!
Fast forward almost a decade later, Vader would make a surprise return to WWE in the most bizarre of circumstances.
But right now, I'm sick of waiting. I want Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I want Stone Cold.
I know, it's all like, why he dressed like him.
For context, WWE would book Jonathan Coachman versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the 2005 Taboo Tuesday pay-per-view, a match that for some reason Coach was supposed to win. Yeah, Coach winning against Austin. Well, Austin felt the same way and dropped out of the match due to the ridiculous booking.
No, he's not really here, is he? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Instead, they booked Batista to take Austin's place, and as Batista was world champion at the time, he would go on to win the match. But for backup, Coach would have the help of Goldust and Vader.
What in the world is this? It's Vader!
Vader's return would take place the night before on Raw, where he got a nice pop from the audience. However, following the pay-per-view the next night, his return would be over and fans would quickly forget that he ever returned. Unfortunately, the only thing I remember about that is him falling on his ass. Number 4, Armando Estrada in 2011.
I remember this name.
How are you?
Allow me to
Oh, yeah.
My name is Armando Alejandro Estrada.
You don't say.
Armando Estrada was most well known for being the manager for Umaga for his first 12 months in the WWE. Now, he would be a good manager for Umaga and really helped get him over with the fans. However, during the build to WrestleMania 23, they decided to remove him from Umaga's side.
Lashley outsmarted both Estrada and Umaga, and here we go! You're not gonna like this right now!
The reason for this was that Vince McMahon believed that Armando being at ringside for the Battle of the Billionaires match at WrestleMania would lead to too many people being at ringside.
Please welcome the brand new General Manager of ECW.
He would then be repositioned as the GM of ECW for a short while before being used as a wrestler, a role where he was strictly an enhancement talent and nothing more.
Wow.
I think Hornswoggle feel a little tadpole.
He would be released in 2008, but would actually make a very brief return in 2011.
And if you don't like it, do something about it.
On the
Tyson
26th
Kidd, man, his hairstyle. But I seen other people with it. I think I remember I seen the soccer player with it, and I was all like, okay, so I'm like, the hairstyle makes sense. But yeah, I remember when Tyson Kidd was the first person I ever seen with that hairstyle, and I'm all like, bro, why does he have like only a portion of his hair? Like, not even a portion. It's just like it's a speckle. Bro, that was something I'm like, I didn't understand it, but like I said, I seen other people with it. I'm like, okay, it makes sense now.
In 2011 edition of Superstars, Armando would return to WWE television as Tyson Kidd's manager. This was an ongoing storyline where Kidd was looking for a manager and would try out different people each week. The return, though, was short-lived, as by the next week, Armando had disappeared off WWE TV and would never be seen again. Number 5, the Headbangers in 2016.
Also here tonight, look at that, look at that!
I feel like I remember this.
Tremendous!
The Headbangers were a duo that debuted in WWE in 1996. They would portray a pair of metalheads who were huge fans of metal music. The gimmick of being they were just metalheads who could wrestle. They were also one of the most outlandish teams to ever compete in the WWE, mainly due to their attire. Although they won the tag titles during their tenure, they would be presented as nothing more than lower card comedy characters for the majority of their careers.
I'm like, I don't think, well, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, did you at least brush your teeth first? I'm like, brush your teeth. Let me see you rinse it out with mouthwash. I need to know. Because I'm like, then I'm like, and my mouth needs to be closed. But dang, man.
In a 2007 edition of WWE Magazine, an article stated that the Headbangers were never deserving of winning the tag titles. Additionally, in December of that year, they were listed in a special Raw magazine that detailed 15 superstars who overstayed their welcome in WWE. So it was weird when they decided to bring the duo back in 2016 for 3 matches.
Start wearing Hellraisers, the Headbangers.
Some people remember them.
They
You
would
see in
wrestle
the crowd.
Slater and Rhino, as well as the Usos. But following their 3 matches, the duo were taken off TV, and the return was quickly forgotten. Number 6, the Spirit Squad in 2016.
Was it for a promo?
I know all bad things must end, but damn it, I'm not done yet!
Yes, you are.
One of the highlights of WWE programming in that year was the feud between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. The two feuding over the Intercontinental title restored a lot of lost prestige to the championship. The feud was even considered to be the main event of a pay-per-view.
I have just the thing to raise your spirits.
I remember this.
During the feud, The Miz would receive the help of 2 former Spirit Squad members, those being Kenny and Mikey. If you recall, the Spirit Squad were a stable of cheerleaders that competed in the WWE during the end of the Ruthless Aggression era, and it was the stable that Ziggler himself was a part of.
Our very own, all-American, amateur wrestler, Nikki! to face Dusty Rhodes.
The pair were only back for around 6 weeks and even managed to get a SmackDown Tag Team title shot, but were unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Just cut him in half.
Yeah, I remember when they came back, because I remember I knew that Dolph Ziggler was a part of that like Spirit Squad stuff. And yeah, and I think when it was when they introduced them and like when they did that return, I was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool, because I was like, I didn't start watching wrestling until like either late 2000s. No, it was like around the time WrestleMania 23. So that's when I had started watching wrestling, because it was, yeah, I remember it was that Backlash, and that's when Batista speared Undertaker off the stage, and then the stage came down and exploded. And that was like my first moment of like seeing wrestling. So yeah, and then the PG era, I was like, bro, why I gotta come in at the PG? How come I wasn't watching wrestling like around, like, I mean, I was born in '96, but I'm like, dang, like, my family couldn't just plant me in front of a TV and just have me just watching wrestling or something, like.
However, the feud between The Miz and Ziggler quickly evolved, and the involvement of Kenny and Mikey was fizzled out, removing them from TV and wouldn't be referenced during the feud moving on. Number 7, D'Lo Brown in 2008.
I think I remember this too. I remember this.
It is. Oh my, yes. D'Lo, the lowdown, and D'Lo Brown is the European champion.
D'Lo Brown was one of the hottest young stars of the Attitude Era. He had the ability and charisma to be a main event player in WWE. However, when they added half a dozen new talents such as Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero, there really wasn't a place for D'Lo, and he gradually moved down the card until his release in 2003. Oh, but
yeah,
we would hate ourselves for not.
Because I remember, I think one of my friends told me about him, and then I remember he was like he was walking like him. Because I have a few friends that was wrestling fans too, and then yeah, I think he was like, yeah, we would. I think when I see them, I'm like, oh, that's okay. So I understand where the walk comes from.
That exquisite European Championship run. But in 2008, fans were surprised to see D'Lo had officially re-signed and that he would be returning to WWE in the near future.
And then, there you go.
Well, we all had heard that D'Lo re-signed with the WWE after a 5-year hiatus.
He would make his return to TV on the July 21st, 2008 edition of Raw when he defeated Santino Marella. He would only win a total of 2 matches during his second run and would mainly be used as an enhancement talent.
Oh, face first is D'Lo, and I believe this one's over. The surly Mike Knox picks up the win.
I forgot about that guy.
Short-lived, as in 2009 he was released due to cost-cutting measures, thus putting an end to a remarkably underwhelming second run for the former Intercontinental Champion. Number 8, Eugene in 2009.
Now I remember, because I was like, Eugene, he's a wrestler that I was like, I didn't get a chance to see, but I knew of him because I remember they did like that SmackDown versus Raw video game, and he was involved in it and stuff. So yeah, I was like, I knew of Eugene, but I just never had seen him. But I think I don't remember his return. I might.
Eugene would
they show
debut
it.
in 2004 and would portray a mentally challenged adult who learned to wrestle from copying his favorite wrestlers such as The Rock and Triple H.
It's crazy how it's like WWE got away with this. And I'm like, man, it's, yeah. I think if he does come back, he's gonna have to drop that act. It's gonna have to be like some dark stuff, like they like forced him. I don't know. It's overall he's just gonna have to drop that act.
The gimmick received a lot of backlash. They gave Eugene a massive push, and he would even wrestle Triple H at SummerSlam in 2004.
Eugene turned right back into the game. Third time. Oh, the third time's a charm.
However, shortly after that match, Eugene would slowly slip down the card and he would find himself competing exclusively on Sunday Night Heat before his release in 2007. Two years later, it was then announced that WWE had re-signed him.
Well, as you can see, it's Eugene trying to make it back into the WWE.
Sadly, he would only have one match upon returning against The Miz on Raw, and Eugene would never be seen on WWE television ever again. He would reveal that Vince McMahon reportedly hated his appearance upon returning in 2009 and had no desire to put Eugene on TV in any capacity. Number 9, Gangrel and Viscera in 2004.
There is a reason I am here. I am a wrestling god.
In 2004, JBL was in the midst of a lengthy WWE title run, and one of his many feuds was a feud with The Undertaker.
Oh my God!
During their build to their match at the No Mercy pay-per-view, JBL would hire Gangrel and Viscera.
Orlando Jordan, who the hell? No, that's Gangrel. That's what you said. That's Viscera.
To take out The Undertaker in a 2-on-1 handicap match. This would be the first time that Gangrel had been on TV since 2001, and the first time Viscera had been on TV since 2000. The duo were billed as the Ministry of Darkness, and JBL's.
I just recently downloaded Gangrel's like a theme song because I think it was like an early theme song because I like how the way it sounds, and so I was like, at first it was like it took me, but then I seen who I was like, oh okay, so I was like, yeah, because it was like a Edge and Christian, and then the Hardy Boys rivalry that was going on, and I think he was caught in the mix of it. I know very little of like wrestling, like anything prior before. I'm not even remembering stuff during the time when I was watching wrestling, so I'm not gonna really know a whole lot from stuff back in the day. But I do know some names and some people, but and some like gimmicks that wrestlers had prior before their like final gimmick. But anyways,
was actually never mentioned. Gangrel didn't do enough to impress WWE officials as he wasn't signed to a new deal.
Oh, look at that! Oh man, that's a 500-pound Viscera. How can anybody forget him?
Viscera, on the other hand, would sign a multi-year deal with the WWE and began to work the Raw brand in a full-time capacity 2 weeks after his return. And number 10, Grandmaster Sexay in 2004.
Young Edge.
The trio that consisted of Scotty 2 Hotty, Rikishi and Grandmaster Sexay received some of the largest ovations in the Attitude Era. However, in late 2000, WWE decided to have Rikishi be revealed as the one who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin, thus turning Rikishi heel and splitting up Too Cool in the process. Brian Christopher, aka Grandmaster Sexay, would be released in 2001 due to him attempting to smuggle drugs across the border, whilst the other two members of Too Cool remained in the company.
Wow.
In 2004, they decided to give him a second chance.
Grandmaster Sexay returning to Raw.
It's like, yeah, bro, you can't do stuff like that.
Jim Ross would sign him as his latest act as head of talent relations as a favor to his close friend Jerry Lawler, who is his father. Unfortunately, the run was a disaster.
Dang.
He's really struggling now. Look out! Look at this toe slam.
He would be squashed by Kane upon his return match and would only have 3 other matches before being once again released from the company.
Dang.
Well, there you have it, guys. 10 WWE returns that nobody remembers.
Whatever happened to that girl?
Do you guys remember any of these? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists. And I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
That was a pretty good video. Yeah, a lot of those wrestlers, it was like, some of it was like before my time of watching wrestling, but it's interesting to know some of that stuff, or to know what happened with some of those wrestlers, because I knew of the names, I just didn't get a chance to see any of them. But anyways, yeah, that was a pretty good video. Shout out to WrestleLamia, bro. If y'all haven't, go subscribe to them, go show them some love, do whatever you can to support their channel. Like, subscribe to me also. Talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.